bar is loading, so it looks like we're kind of good to go.
It says we're now live streaming.
All right, we are here. Okay, minimize this. All right, I know I already asked you guys, but how's everyone doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. All right, we are back. 15th virtual book review. Look at us, look at us. We've already gotten 15. This is the 15th one. It's still surreal to me. I can't believe it. This has definitely been a blessing ride to just get the new people I've met through doing this book club, and also my panelists who are like my virtual and physical BFFs. Those of you who are watching us live, hey everyone, hey Pat Heath, hey Lisa Faye, hey Stephanie Harris, hurry up and get well. Glad you guys were able to tune in tonight so far. So let me go ahead and get started. So tonight we are doing part 2 of a 2-part series of the book review of What the Mirror Sees by Teria Robens. And for those of you who are watching us, and this is your first time tuning in, what we are wind down readers, and I'm Takesha Edwards, your host. And I also own Blueprint 2 Events, which is a full service event planning company. And we are so proud to host Wind Down Readers. So Wind Down Readers is a virtual book club that meets bi-weekly, traditionally on Sundays. And what we do is just review novels. Seems like our specialty, we welcome all genres, but it seems like our specialty is starting to come around relationships. That seems to be our hot topics every time we meet. And basically we just discuss some common things, relatable topics, and just to give our perspective of what goes on within the book. And we have great conversation, and what sets us aside from all the other book clubs and virtual book clubs is that we have been so blessed to have these discussions with the authors. And so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our wonderful panel for tonight. We have Miss Pat from Florida. Hi, Miss Pat.
Hey, good to see you.
We have author Marley Ray coming to us from St. Louis. How you doing, Marley Ray?
Good, good.
All right. We have here Jay, one of my DMVers, the DC, Maryland, Virginia residents. How you doing, Jay?
I'm great. How's everybody?
We have another DMVer, Miss Wanda. How you doing, Wanda?
Hi, everyone.
And coming to us from the Starship Enterprise, we have Deborah King. How you doing, Deborah? All right. All right. And another DMV, fellow author and our producer, Miss Steph Williams. How you doing, Steph?
I'm good. How's everyone?
Hey, Miss Steph.
Hey, hey.
And our other DMV, Miss Barbara. How you doing, Miss Barbara?
Hi, hello, everyone. I'm well, thank you.
And we have Miss Gloria Johnson. I don't see her screen up, but maybe she can unmute and say hi. If not, we're sending her hellos and greetings to her. And I'm pretty sure she'll pop in soon. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our, I feel like she is a part of our Wind Down Readers family now, but she is also the featured author for tonight of What the Mirror Sees. So we'd like to say hello to Miss Teria Robens. How you doing, Teria?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Miss Lady.
Also, AKA known as TR. You may hear me interchangeably refer to her as TR. And we have Miss Kendra coming in at the perfect time. We're gonna give her a minute to load up. All right. I'm going to give a couple as we give Gloria, Steph, and Kendra a minute to load up. I'm going to say hello to those who are watching us live. We have Mr. Harold Steels. How you doing, Harold? Also, who else do we have here? Shamel Lowry. How you doing, Shamel? I'm glad you guys were able to join. Hey, Kendra. How's it going? Kendra is also a DMVer. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So the book we're reviewing again tonight is What the Mirror Sees, and this is part 2. So we're going to be discussing chapters 36 through 62. And so what's the book about? So What the Mirror Sees is basically about a divorced mom, Deidre Davenport, and she hides years of pain behind a happy facade until she hires John Robert Stone, also known as JR, to investigate a leak in her business finances. The gruff but gorgeous, and yes, he is described very gorgeous, a younger forensic accountant gets on Dee Dee's last nerve, but also ignites her passions as they follow a money trail that could get both of them killed. If Dee Dee wants to save her company and claim this chance for love with JR, she will have to stop pretending and ensure that a truly happy woman is what the mirror sees. All right, so traditionally, this is the time we announce our little liquid sweet, our drinks. So Facebook, go ahead and let me know what you're drinking on, and I'll start with the panel. I'll start with myself first. So tonight, had a little sweet tooth, so I didn't want to eat something. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna get my calories into my drink tonight. So I have a Moscato, and it's the Bartonura. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know if you guys have had this. This is so good. Oh my God, I just picked it up to try something new. It is so good. I feel like I've had it before, but I'm not sure. I have, okay. It is so good. So that's what I'm drinking on. Miss Pat, what you got for us?
Okay, well, I'm back to my Capriccio, the rosé sangria, but I also wanted to share this one. This is my blue champagne that I found, and this, yes, it's so much. I bought it out the grocery store, but when they put it on sale, I buy it. So I got 4 or 5 bottles now. But it's called Blanc de Bleu.
Oh, okay. Blanc de Bleu.
Yes, I'm saving it for a special occasion.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll be in Florida when you pop it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Marley Ray, what you got going on? What are they drinking on in St. Louis tonight?
I got 2 things going on tonight. I got some Riesling. It's very good. And I also have some water. So I had to represent them.
Oh, okay. So you being a little good and a little bad.
Yeah. Little naughty and nice going on.
All right, Miss Wanda, what you got for us?
So I have worked for the last 3 days. And so just to keep myself awake, I decided to just again have some punch. Because if I drink any wine, I may fall asleep. Not because the book wasn't that great, but just because I'm just that tired.
Okay. Yeah, this is your peak season, so I can totally get it. All right. Barbara, what you got going on?
Okay, so I'm going to give a shout out. I'm from North Carolina in a very rural town.
Yes.
So they have a winery. It's Black owned. And this is called Roxborough Red, North Carolina, sweet muscadine wine.
Wow.
Oh, Roxborough Red.
The name of the winery is Seven Springs Farm and Vineyard.
Okay.
Seven Springs. Okay. And you said it's in Roxborough?
Girl, it's in Ridgeway, North Carolina, a little small town.
Okay.
But it's good. It's actually very good.
And Black owned. I love it. I'm gonna have to check them out the next time I'm home. All right, Deborah King, what you got for us, girl? Shoot us through the roof.
I have a delightful combination of vodka and ginger beer with a splash of lemon. And I have iced tea for when I drink too much.
I used to drink ginger beer so much when I was little because my mom liked it. And, I was, well, kind of teenage-ish, and I used to like, because it just said beer. So I thought I was like really drinking beer. But, so yeah, you're taking me back. You're taking me back. Not with the vodka though, but you're taking me back. Kendra, what you got going on?
It's good.
Got a red, a Cabernet Syrah. I opened it to let it breathe, which is about an hour and a half ago, and that's why I was running late because I had started drinking it real early.
You know what? If we're all honest, Kendra,
Okay.
a lot of us, including myself, start, before 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll be the first one to admit.
Okay, now I don't feel bad. Okay.
You don't feel bad.
Okay.
Okay, Steph, what you sipping on tonight?
I think it's called Jamaica Me Happy.
Oh,
Jamaica Me Happy. I like that.
It's a sparkling wine. Yes.
I love
It's
sparkling
very-
wine.
Yes. Jamaica Me Happy.
All right.
Jamaica Me Happy. Okay. Steph, you have to check on Gloria. She loading up or what? We'll
Okay.
come back. I hate to leave her out.
Okay,
And
I will.
I have Pat. She's drinking. She's telling us she's in the chat drinking Sauvignon Blanc. And who else? Stephanie Harris says she's drinking water tonight. We know Stephanie. All right. Hi, Gianna. There, I see you just popped in. Welcome. Okay, and without further ado, I'm going to have to ask Teria, what are you drinking on tonight? What are they drinking on tonight in the Windy City?
Well, since so many people had Prosecco last time, I sort of got a taste for Prosecco, but I made myself a Kir out of Campari instead of Cassis or Chambord. Oh. So I have a Kir made from Campari and Prosecco.
Oh, okay.
And this is not the first one this afternoon.
So you and Kendra are already on the cruise ship. Jay, did I ask you what you were drinking on already?
You already know.
I just wanted, I'm loving your background. I just want to draw all the attention to it.
I'm in the hood now. Be careful, because you know I'm down Anacostia Park.
Yeah, and that's how Anacostia looks too.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go on, I just wanted to remind you guys that Wind Down Readers does have an Instagram account and a YouTube channel. So please, watch, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and check us out. And you can watch all the 14 other virtual reviews there as well. So definitely check us out. And if you know of an author, or if you are an author and you're interested in having your book reviewed, or someone told me analyzed, someone joked and said that, I Wind Down Readers. You can email us at winddownreaders@gmail.com, and we'd love to have you on. All right. So getting to our juicy topics of discussion tonight, I figured our theme, based on what I read and what I took from chapters 36 to 62. So the theme tonight is things aren't always what they seem. Things aren't always what they seem. So starting with the first question, what do you guys think about the evolution or the evolving of Dee Dee's self-esteem, or lack thereof, throughout the novel? And, kind of keep in mind of her age and her accomplishments. And before we we can go ahead and start. I kind of want Teria to kind of chime in on Dee Dee's character after we give our 2 cents. So who wants to start? Anyone?
So I'll start since
okay.
And I can see Marley Ray is ready. So when we say evolution, I guess for me, I thought the real evolution was toward the end versus, all along, because she kept going kind of back and forth and, always wanted it to be this way. And I think, without, until we get to the part where things happen without saying a whole lot, I think her realization and her maturity and her understanding and evolution didn't come until everything that happened to her happened to her. And then she finally realized, that it was time to think about her. I think that was to me, and that was closer, toward the end.
Toward the end. I agree. Yes, Miss Pat, what do you think?
So I feel like she evolved. She evolved as she was discovering herself. She had to get away from that husband first, but she was evolving. And even 10 years before, when she met Rob in Vermont, she right then had some kind of epiphany where she felt like, okay, I can be a different me. Even though she didn't stay in a relationship with him, she went home and she was glowing and she was a different person. She started her business. She did a lot of different things. So I think that was part of her evolution.
I agree. I felt as if every time her accomplishments, and also as you get older, it kind of built strength for her. And it was like, it was like a belt was around her and she was loosening it every time she did things on her own and saw that she can kind of, I'm good. I don't need to, to depend on husband and XYZ. I can do this on my own. So I kind of felt the same way. Anyone else?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
go ahead, Marley Ray. Go ahead.
I thought she evolved. I would say also towards the end, and definitely I had kind of mixed feelings on her career-wise. I thought she did wonderfully career-wise, but I think she made a lot of mistakes in her career that she also made in her personal life. And I would say trusting the wrong people.
Yeah.
Or putting her confidence and so much faith in the wrong people. When that part first came about in the book, I couldn't understand. I said, why is she trusting this guy? I couldn't figure out why he became like her go-to person. But it was kind of the same thing she did with her ex-husband. It's like she found someone, and just because they appeared to be what they said they were, she just kind of put everything into them, as opposed to me, she wasn't cautious enough, as far as the business was concerned. And it's kind of like she lived her personal life too. It's like with the second boyfriend, I don't know why she kept dating him, but I didn't get him at all. Right. So, but I did, in the end, I really did. I was happy that, who she chose in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Talk about weathering the storm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Kendra, I see all these. Oh, Deborah, you had, I know you wanted to chime in. What's your take on it, Deborah?
I think she started evolving in Vermont. She spent those years just being mom. The only difference between when she left her marriage and before she went to Vermont was she stopped being a wife, but she still had dedicated her whole life at that point to her boys. Yeah. When she went to Vermont, that's when she started thinking about herself. I still don't understand why she kept entertaining her ex-husband, and every time he called, she would listen to him. But yeah, when her evolution began, when she was in Vermont, she came home with a brand new attitude and all of that stuff. She stalled a little bit with Chip, with the crazy dude, but I can understand he was a higher rank than her. He was impressive. But when she realized he was crazy, that was kind of cool. That's about it.
Cool. Scary cool.
Yes.
That's an interesting take on it. I agree with you. Starting in Vermont. Kendra, what you got going on over there?
Mine is totally different. I'm going on a play of words here.
Okay.
And I would love to be corrected, or more specifically, a better clarification. But when I looked at it, and I actually wrote this down from the term, from biology standpoint, evolve, meaning to develop gradually, especially from one single to a more complex form. It's got to be an opposite word of evolve, because I think she was all these form of things in the beginning. She was in school, she was studying, she had a plan, she got married, she changed, she became on a board of the hospital, a mom, a businesswoman. She was doing so many things. So if we're using the term of evolving, she was already that complex form before. And I think she shifted. I mean, because she was always a businesswoman. She was handling business before she had her business. And I think she singled out, which is the opposite of evolve to me, to let me work on me. This is what I like. I'm going to stop focusing on now being married, being somebody's secretary, being somebody mad. You know, the boys are an age, you know, running all these things, and just went back to one singular thing, her business and working on her. But she still had the same mentality, I think, as Marley Ray spoke about not giving herself permission. You just went from the skillet, which is the husband, you know, then having that flick, that just something about him unlocked something in her. And she's still like, nah, I'm not going to give myself permission for that. Let me go on and stay on this path. And then you just find another fool. So if you don't resolve it, you're just going to keep running into fool after fool after fool after fool. So, you know, I don't think she, you know, she was all these things, and then she went into a single form. And maybe, you know, I got caught up on the word evolve, because all these things, but I think she was all those things before.
But, you know,
what about relationship wise? Oh, I'm sorry, Wanda.
No, I just was going to ask. So I agree. I mean, again, evolving is a continuation of something, but I think it was her evolution. And so to me, that's when in the book, the conclusion of when she came into herself. So she was evolving all along, but I think she didn't come into herself until, you remember the scene with her and her mother in the kitchen, when her mother said, you know, you've got to, you know, she was still worried about Carl, and she was thinking he's alone, and she made her kind of focus. It's got to be about more than, you know, you can't do anything to help him. You can't do whatever. You got to focus on this and on you. And then when she, to me, that was why I think it's different than the evolving. It's the evolution, what actually comes out of all of those things you said. Those things took her to that place, but it wasn't until all the worst of the worst happened to her. But it still took her mother to help her see this is more than just about those other people. It's got to be about what you want and what's important to you. And so to me, I think that was the way I kind of separated the evolving versus the evolution, because I think the evolution is kind of the conclusion of it, and then the book, that's for me, it ended. I think a different way to look at it, but
yeah. And don't our experiences anyway in life that we go through make us into the person that we are, hopefully the better person, the better version of you, all of the ups and downs, and the too much of trusting in the business, giving too much on this, not enough of that, all of her ups and downs. Aren't those things supposed to make us, like the author did a great job of bringing all of that together in the end to make her that one better person? But it's our experiences that are supposed to make us stronger, whether those experiences are good, bad, or indifferent.
That's true. Yeah,
I agree. Y'all are, wait, let me take my train. Y'all getting deep on me. What is going on? Started over here. My goodness, I'm glad I gave my opinion first.
Yeah, Yeah, and as Kendra was saying, she had her hand in different pots. That just the little cliche that says she's a jack of all trades and a master of none. So I guess when she evolves into the person that she is, she becomes the master of herself.
Good point. Yeah.
And I don't think she had a self-esteem problem in the beginning, because if she did, she would have never left her husband. Because she would have never thought she was, could make it on her own, in my opinion. I think that was that didn't show a lack of self-esteem.
So, but okay, so let me ask you guys this. You ever met someone and they seem, and I'll say seem because you never fully know what someone's going through or what they got going on, but they seem like they have it all together. Like, as I'll just make up a person hypothetically. She's a mother, she's, CEO of a company or this and that, but who she dates always is like, why she always having issues with dating these people?
Because they could be powerful on one end, on the business end, and then it's like no confidence on the dating end. Because if you talk to a woman who is powerful in the business world, that's sometimes that power is a front for the lack of being the self-esteem in the personal world. She puts it all into the business because she lacks it in the personal. And you see, why is it that sometimes, like you said, these women who who have these great businesses and it's just amazing in the boardroom, but you take her outside that boardroom and she dating, I'm not going to say, but y'all know what I mean.
she dating
freaking
Playing in dirt.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it happens a lot.
And so, and I should have formed the question better. I should have just said, as far as like with her relationship side, because again, Kendra, I thought still do think she is a superwoman in all her other hats, but relationships, and this is why I want Teria to chime in on this particular question in particular, because in relationships, it seemed as if she had the armor to take on everything else. Even in our last review, I talked about how, when she executed leaving her husband, how flawless and superior I thought it was. Mm-hmm. But and then she would tick me off every time Derek called, and she would listen to his nonsense, So it was like she was unbalanced. Like she just kind of needed to be calibrated a little bit when it came to her relationships and get it on the same level as everything else that was going in her life. So I'm gonna, if anyone else wanted to chime in on their opinion, if not, I'm gonna pass the mic to TR so she can give us a little insight on that character.
Yeah, I was sort of surprised that y'all beat up on Dee Dee as much as you did. Her self-esteem was shot because she was always comparing herself to the twins. It was always Dee Dee and the twins. Mm-hmm. They were so much older. And she's trying to walk and they're playing t-ball. She's trying to read and they're doing all kinds of stuff. So the difference between her siblings who were 5 years older and her trying to come along, that's really what was the basis of Dee Dee's lack of self-esteem. And when you lack self-esteem, you attract crazy people. Amen. Particularly narcissistic people and abusive people. Derek could not have run that on any of y'all, right? But Dee Dee was 19, she had bad self-esteem, and he's the kind of person that looks for somebody, sick attracts sicker. And she pulled in somebody who made her feel like whatever she had never felt before, and then you weaponized it. Used it to keep her where she was. And there is such a thing as codependency where people give until they're damaged. It's not just give until it hurts. You think that person's welfare is so much more important than your welfare. Mm-hmm. You will do anything to keep them comfortable, even if it makes you bleed all over the place. And that's what codependency is. And you know, after doing that for 16 years, you don't get over it that quickly. I mean, she didn't spend that much time with Chip. She could have spent another 16 years. You know, it's like, you know, you go up, you take one step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, you know, because the self-esteem is very damaged. And for all the things that she was doing while she was married, she didn't think any of that was valuable because Derek didn't.
That's
think
the stuff.
She didn't realize all the stuff she was doing was spectacular because his opinion was more important than hers. And whenever you are willing to die spiritually, physically, emotionally, to keep somebody else happy, you're in trouble.
And darn Derek.
So don't beat up on Dee Dee.
And you know, actually though, so for me, it wasn't so much about beating up me, because some of us probably know some people like that. And some of the relationships may not have been total narcissists. It's just some of us has just accepted a lot more than maybe others would, and trying to be patient, trying to be caring, trying to make things work and balance, that we forget about ourselves. It's just when we come into ourselves that those people don't understand it. And I think that although she came into herself, it's still, she went through a lot. And like I say, still at the end, she was still trying to look at the better for somebody else instead of focusing on herself after all she had gone through. So, you know.
The other thing is that there's such a thing as imposter syndrome. And I'm sure you've all heard about that. It's where women who are very powerful inside are very broken. And I have an affirmation in my inspirational book, Dear Lauren, Love Mom, that says she can ride, but she can't drive. On the shoulders of the most amazing women is this broken little girl. And just as you're about to do something awesome, she says, who do you think you are? And that's the voice of all the people that told you you were too fat, too black, too yellow, too nappy-headed, you know, people all of your life who've made you, or you've allowed them to make you feel bad about yourself. It takes a lot. You overcome, you do a whole bunch, but at great cost. And I see that in so many accomplished women, that little girl is still in charge.
Was it important for you to make Dee Dee's character that way to show the trail of this relationship between her and JR? Because my next question kind of talks about, you know, the whole theme is things aren't what they seem, but, you know, a lot of us, including myself, we wouldn't have initially, without finding out who JR is, would have picked him out for Dee Dee. So did you purposely create her to kind of have this imbalance situations going on with her as she met
created her to show how lack of self-esteem puts you in Dutch your whole life. You know, that was the whole thing. Lack of the root of all evil is lack of self-esteem. It's not money. It's not believing that you deserve to be where you are, or not deserving to be happy, that you're supposed to keep other people happy. And and that's why I made it more exaggerated with her, so you could see how really deeply she got in, and then how she slipped back in with Chip, because she settled. She settled. She kept saying, oh, it's gonna be all right. All relationships take. She wasn't happy with Chip from the beginning.
No, she wasn't.
But she didn't see that she deserved any better. And that was what JR did for her, because it never occurred to her that somebody who looked like that would be interested in her. And so it made her question, well, maybe I'm not any of this stuff that Derek said. But, you know, 16 years is a long time. You don't get over it right away. So I wanted you to see that transition. The other thing is something that you and I talked about after last time. Dee Dee's strategy in getting out of that relationship. I didn't think she would have done that had she not talked to her mom.
Oh yeah, you gotta get that gas.
She was like all over the place until Mama goes, Deirdre Denise Conway, you stop that right now. You know, and Dee Dee goes, all 3 names, you know?
Yeah.
So her mom was there at the beginning and at the end.
That's kind of surprising though that her mom was like that now, but she grew up with a self-esteem problem. She had the same mom.
That's true.
You know, it doesn't, you never know what happens in a child's mind. It doesn't matter what actually happens. It only matters what they believe happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she was comparing herself with her siblings. She thought that her parents did more for them. I mean, that was just all her. I don't think her mother was doing anything that made her do, and you know, in a lot of ways, nobody makes you do that anyway. You know, it's something inside you. And some people can say stuff to you, but until you hear it, it doesn't matter.
So true.
They can tell you how wonderful you are, tell you, you know, until you believe it,
True.
it doesn't matter.
Okay, I saw Miss Patton and we'll go to Kendra.
Okay, and sometimes parents are not even aware of things that go on with siblings. And I think that may be a key for a lot of things. 'Cause I was the middle child of 2 sisters. And I remember we used to sleep in the same bed together. And because I was the middle child, it made me sleep in the middle. And if I had to go to the bathroom, they wouldn't move. The left wouldn't move and the right wouldn't move. I had to climb down the bottom and out the bottom of the covers to go to the bathroom, and I had to climb back in the same way. So, you know, there could have been things that affected me. However, over time, I overcame anything that could have been that way. And now I'm the leader of my whole family. And I'm still the middle child. They call me and look up to me for everything.
Me too.
Go, Miss Pat.
Hallelujah.
Go, Miss Pat.
I'm not surprised.
That's what I am talking about. I like the evolution of Miss Pat. Okay, so moving on to our next topic, and you know what? Where are my manners? I want to see what they are saying over here in our chat. So Pat Heath said it took her, and her meaning Dee Dee, a long time to break out of her old self. She also said often our work self is different than our personal self. That is very true. And we got some high fives, some amens and agrees here as well. So I just want to move on to our next topic of discussion. So everybody pretend like you don't know the ending of the book, as if you can do that. What factors do you think would have hindered possibilities of a man at the age of 38 and a woman at the age of 48 starting or resuming a past relationship? I thought it was, I don't know why I don't even want to say this, but I'm gonna say it for lack of words. I love rooting for the underdog. So there were so many factors that people would have, and even with reading the book, assuming like, this is not gonna work. Like everything popped in my head. What if we want kids? What if this? What if that? You know, what if someone and to travel along with this book throughout the journey of JR and Dee Dee, and to see the ending, it was just kind of refreshing to see. It's like watching that team that has been losing for years and years and years go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if y'all had the same.
You must be a Cubs fan.
Not even a baseball fan. My grandfather scarred me with that. But I just I don't know. I don't know if you guys got that same sentiment when you were reading it. But I just felt as I was reading JR, of course, I thought he was wonderful. And I also thought Dee Dee was wonderful. But I'm like, get out of here. This is not going to work. Now, and sad to say, and I hate to be sexist, but it is, if it was the genders were switched, I may not have thought the same. And I'm just going to be, 100% honest here. But in just thinking about these two characters, I have to admit, in the beginning, I was like, this isn't gonna work. He is too young. She got too much going on to entertain him. So I don't know. So just in with the characters in the book, and also just in everyday life with women, that particular 10-year difference. What do you guys think?
So I'll go first because I have my parents, my stepfather and my mother have 9 years between them, almost 10. the
Oh,
30 and the senior. And so, and they started dating when she was 40. So that would have made him like 39, 30,
wow. Okay.
and she's 82 now, and they got married when they were 60. So for me, I can see that happening, and I think it depends on the maturity of both.
Yeah.
So the children issue that you talked about. Of course, he had been married and had children, and she, of course, had the three of us. So that wasn't part of it. But I think and even looking at Dee Dee and JR was so mature for his age, I thought, based on his character, because he had already had, military experience, he had college experience, he made decisions. He even had gone as far as not taking other women around his family into his family. He was mature enough to think these things ahead and not put himself nor other people in bad situations. And so I never doubted it. And in fact, I had totally forgotten about the age difference until, and just thinking about, watching, listening to his side of it, how he, got his CPA, and how he was planning his future and wanted to be a business. All of those things. I saw them so much alike in their paths and their approach at things that I never even questioned whether or not that would work, that relationship would work. And I think going back to what was said about Dee Dee and her personality and her self-esteem, he didn't lack that. I don't think as a man, he didn't have that problem, but at the same time, he was, they had their balance for each other, because he knew it could work, and he never doubted what he could be for her. She doubted what she could be for him. And so that was, to me, where, if they both, when they both came to that same place, I think that them coming together just made sense. Just me.
As always, that's a very good and interesting pick, Wanda. Anyone else?
Jay.
I think
My inspiration was my 93-year-old Aunt Terry. If you go on my LinkedIn, my alter ego, Dr. Cheryl's LinkedIn profile, last year, I have a picture of her doing her 17 laps around the top of her building every day. And when she was 80 something, 2, 3, something like that, she got involved with somebody who was 10 years younger than she. And they were together 10 or 15 years until he decided, he retired and decided she needed to be at his beck and call. And she said, I don't think so. And walked. But this boy's nose is so open that today he calls her.
That's what I'm talking
Today
about.
he calls her. So she was my inspiration for that.
Okay. Well, makes sense. Anyone?
I wouldn't do younger. I wouldn't do older. I'm just speaking personally.
Now that's really interesting, Stephanie. So you would do younger, and not any particular reason why?
I can give you a whole lot of them, but I don't think I should say them on the Facebook Live. I just, this, I don't know, maybe it's just me personally, but I think I am a younger version of a 57-year-old. And yeah, and I just personally, maybe there's some older versions of 57, but for me, I would need 47 on up, not 67. I just can't, for various reasons. I just wanted to say that, but I can't give the reasons.
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to be a little biased here in knowing Steph. I'm 42 and I'm not in a relationship with her, but I can barely keep up with her. Sometimes I don't even know how she makes it.
True.
And Wanda's laughing because she probably agrees. Yeah. So yeah, she would kill a 67-year-old man.
Girl, kill him dead.
Look at Jay.
I'm not good at Mike and take you for a spin, but the average, we would have to pray for him real hard. Yeah. But that's interesting that you would say that, that you want someone. Okay. Well, my next topic that I wanted to bring up was towards the end, were you all surprised with who the culprit was? Did you consider any other characters as possibilities? And if so, who and why? Who wants to go first?
I didn't like him from the beginning. So I didn't like him at all. And I was like, Carl, I didn't know really who it was, but I just, as soon as he came into the picture, I did not like him. And I was really upset with her for trusting him. I was like, you do not know this man. Why are you giving him so much control and so much information about your business? So when it was revealed that it was him, I was like, oh, I should have known all along it was him because I didn't like him. So yeah, he was just weird. He was just weird. I didn't like him.
You didn't like him?
I was really surprised. And because I went to it being, and I had to kind of trace my thoughts, and I don't it's hard to do that reading, but I had to kind of go back and say, because I thought it was Derek.
I did too.
Because it was like it didn't transition right, or either I missed a point, but I just thought it was him, especially because there was a conversation about going back to Chicago on a regular basis and having it, that's who I thought it was. I was really surprised. But when you talk about being narcissistic, because the way he played himself into the family, the way he played himself into her mind, it was surprising and it was shocking, but it was, I just didn't expect that. I just did not expect that at all.
No, me either.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I agree with Marley. Because right before we closed out 2 weeks ago, I kept saying, I'm not good at, who, the villain would be. I said, but just because he's short, all the short men in her life have done her wrong. And he came in, he declined the whole business offer at first. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to be in, they're going to compensate my salary. And then I kept saying, he can't be who he's projecting himself to be. And not liking him was an understatement. Marley, this dude was really crazy and foul. And I know she felt so bad because she was like, I can't believe he fooled me. So I'm pretty sure she started second guessing herself again. But I just kept saying, he can't be that ladies' man, especially the way he's described in the book. I kept saying he's not who he portrays himself. So when he showed, the incident when he showed up at the door and it was really revealed who he was, and then, she developed all the things that he had done, I was like, this dude is really crazy. Very narcissistic, like you said, Wanda.
I agree with you. I totally thought it was Derek because of his controlling factor. But go ahead, Miss Pat. I'm sorry. I was blown by that it being Carl.
And I pride myself on being a whodunit mystery person that knows the answer to the thing before the end comes.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think she kind of got caught up in the fact that he was the minority business person, at the beginning when she got her loans, and that he was so, negative at first and then positive later, and then was just so supportive that he just completely took over her accounts and handled her as a minority business client, and then went on to join her company. So she kind of like, oh, he's just in my corner all the way. And she just put him in like, okay, he's a family member. That's the end of that. That's it. And he played that game. Then I'm your family member. Of course, he went to the tanning booth way too often. However, that's what showed him at the end, all that tanning booth stuff. But anyway, but no, I didn't, because the words of Derek kept coming back. She has to need me. She knows I'm the only one for her. And when those passages were written in those chapters that was around the, before the unveiling of who it was, and I kept thinking, oh, it's Derek and probably that wife of his, or Derek and some other woman. But it's about stopping her from having that business. It was about that, controlling that part of her.
I'm with you, Miss Pat. I think the other part was that Derek was, because I could see Carl embezzling, but I just couldn't understand that being the reason why. That was the part that was a shock to me.
Exactly.
Is how drawn, he felt like this was for them. That part was really crazy to me. Good job, TR.
Okay. I see Barbara and then I see TR's hand. So Barbara, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. I wasn't surprised because I didn't see his purpose in the book. So to me, and I'm one of those ID channel history, who does people.
She is ID channel.
He had no purpose. So to bring him into the storyline, there had to be a purpose. And to me, that was his purpose, to be the bad guy.
That's deep.
So I had it figured out who it was before. I wasn't surprised at all.
Really? He got me. He would have got all my money because I did not think it was Carl at all. He was keeping the kids and at the mama's house for Thanksgiving. I'm like, it can't be Carl.
Boys, right? The boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's normally those that are closest to you. It's normally those that are closest to you.
That's sad. I don't like it. Let me see what they're saying over here in the chat. Stephanie O'Hara, she said, I just felt that Derek was too narcissistic to go to jail. Okay. He was. And she says it was obvious, a tip that Stephanie had that it might have been Carl was because the way he kept asking to help with the audit. He did kind of give some hints away with that it was, and helping with the audit. I was a little bit like, calm down, dude. They got it. Like she's hiring somebody else. Like,
well, I could see embezzlement, but I couldn't see for the reason why. I never got the relation. I mean, I could see him stealing money. I could see him having a gambling problem, but I couldn't see the love that was professed. It
totally blew us away. Yeah, I think with everyone, that definitely blew us away. Go ahead, TR. I see your little hand itching up there. She itching.
He tried to, he started out being frumpy and ugly and unfashionable. He tried to make himself, he got obsessed with her and tried to make himself into what he thought she might be, attracted to. He started dressing well. He started going to the tanning salon. So I just was trying to show him getting more and more obsessed with her.
Yeah, I do want to guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kendra.
So nobody thought it was the ex. Nobody thought it was the ex.
I thought it was Derek.
No, not the ex-husband. I just literally said it was Carl because all the short people had done wrong in our life. Just so happened I was right. But no, I'm talking about the ex-trainer, trainer.
Chip?
Because he was so possessive. The ex-boyfriend, that's what I mean.
Oh, you mean the karate man?
Yes.
I didn't think Chip was that bright.
Yeah, I'm like,
I didn't think he was smart enough.
Like Barbara just said, I was like, what was his purpose?
To get on our nerves.
Why did this made Chip a non-factor for real, right?
Yeah, I didn't think Chip was smart. And I didn't think he would have been able to get access to her business like that because
he had 3 companies. Yeah. I just, think about it. He what do you call it? He's a chain, and he was like, yeah, especially when he said, well, when the boys were gone, I'm thinking it would be like more time. And how she skedaddled out of that and didn't tell a close friend. I better not ever have a friend that go through something like that. And, I wouldn't get involved in it, but go like, put a protection, what do you call it?
Order of protection.
Order of protection, just to be on the safe side, because you are a businesswoman, so but she when she put into a tight situation, She comes out real cool and calm real quick. She had all of that master from the leaving the husband, getting a divorce, to getting out of that crazy situation. Like, yes, sensei, you're right. You know what? I have had experience on that little part one time in my life. I go, you know what? You're absolutely right. I totally understand. Tomorrow I'm getting my locks changed. I did all of that. I put all the feelings to the side, went straight into protective mode, and that fool was crazy.
And Chip was Chip from somewhere. I don't know where he came from, but Stephanie Harris also said that he never, speaking in reference to Carl never showed up with women. He only talked about women. So I think he was in love with her. That is an excellent point.
Interesting.
I didn't even think of that. He did always talk about, he was always going and coming from a date. So yeah, that was an excellent point. Now to kind of segue a little bit into that, do you think as a business woman, with Dee Dee or anyone, I'll just say with anyone, that, with bringing on her staff, having people, she's starting this business, all the ones that, started with her, she brought them along up the ladder with her. Do you think it was part of her codependency with regards to Carl, that she allowed him to have access to all of her business financials on his computer? I thought that was a little weird. Granted, he was, as far as his credentials, you would think, but without having him monitored, I don't know. A flag went up, like, she found that little avenue to kind of depend on Carl, and it kind of jammed her up in the end. So what do you think? You guys think that was part of her codependency kicking in?
That's a good point, Takesha, and that's why you'll probably be a great savvy business person. I just always think about Oprah. You write your own checks.
You do.
I mean, I'm married, and I trust my husband. He's in finances, but I'm gonna still need to see, because that makes you accountable as a person. Yes. And accountability at the end of the day, conversation is just conversations. We friends, we family, we twin sisters, and I probably gave you my liver, but I'm gonna still need to see that paperwork to run it across my people. It's not personal, it's business.
It's a business.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, yeah, that just kind of flagged me a little bit, because I was like, why did you rely on Carl? Now, granted, Carl, like I said, he had the credentials to be the person that could run her financials, but to have him to have access to do things, and within the time frame that she noticed it was when he got, he was really heavily into his gambling and stuff, and he gotten out of control. Then she picked up on it, and even then having to outsource another company to kind of figure out what was going on. I thought that might have been a sign of her codependency. So I just kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. Wanda, I see you frowning up. What's going on?
Because I'm trying in my mind to remember what brought them to that place, because she wasn't like her business was she wasn't still successful. So that may have been part of why her eye wasn't on it so much, because they weren't like struggling, and she was getting clients and, building the business. And again, he was the one that brought her first money, as from the SBA. So of course you're going to trust, it would be natural to trust him, because, okay, she's the CEO, president, and he's the CFO. That's his area of expertise. And so it would make sense, especially during that time frame. But I'm right, you should always check behind and have a way, she should have an outside auditor all along. But it just probably in her being the speaker, the trainer, the pulling in the clients, all of those other things, I think she took her eye off the ball. And I don't think that was about her self-confidence. I think that was just her building business. And sometimes you can do that. And so that it got out of control from that standpoint. But again, I guess I'm still just blown that it was Carl, and because nothing about his character up to that point even said an attraction that she would even give a second thought. It's just
no.
So her like, I'm stuck right here.
His overconfidence was just interesting. because he had a lot of self-confidence if he thought he even compared to anything she would want, anybody that she would want to be with. So.
I'm scared to ask Kendra. Kendra, you go and then Miss Pat.
You know, what Wanda was saying is that, you know, I use the term Oprah, you write your own checks. And I'm only going back on the conversations my husband and I have. He's in finance, and he was like, no, you always need 2 attorneys. Mm-hmm. 2 accountants. You need one just to make sure the first accountant is doing his job. And I used to always say, hey, you need to be an accountant for the stars. You really do. I mean, your character, you're somebody you can trust. He was like, I could never be, because I would always require to meet with my clients at least twice a year. And he said most stars and celebrity don't want to meet with their clients. They don't even really want to know about their money. They just want to know that that card is going to swipe and that check is there. And I agree with Wanda. I don't think it's really a codependency. It was just that lack. This is the person who, you know, helped me build. And Wanda, to bring it back to the book, she kept saying we're flowing and steady, but our numbers is not where it needs to be. Money wise, it's true, we're not struggling. Carl gave her the message about that they landed that really big attorney, and he did kind of make a comment. Remember, before they got the attorney, do you really think you can pull that off? You may be biting off more than you can chew. So that was the deception there. And she was just like, we're not losing. I'm taking time. I want to pat myself on the back, but our numbers just still should be more higher than this. And I was thinking like it could have been secretary, but my reason was stupid. It was just a gut feeling. You can't trust that Short dude. Derek Short, he did you wrong. Paul Short, he can't be a ladies' man. The way he was described, and even the author was saying she was building him up. I kept saying he gotta be paying these women, and he is just projecting. He is not who he say he is.
You'd be surprised with success.
And if you're dating that many women like he said he was, somebody gonna show up at that office and act a fool. And nobody did. It's just, it just didn't add up.
I thought she was too trusting, or either she too trusting, or maybe I'm too paranoid. I don't know.
No. You're right, Marley.
Yeah,
You're not paranoid.
Too trusting, and I just can't see a person that I would have understood it better if it was somebody that she had known for a very long time. But this guy was new. He came in when she started her business, and she didn't know him. So I didn't understand why she gave him that much access to her business. I don't think I would ever, even if I do know you, I need to see what you're doing. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And that would be those insecurities and self-esteem issues she had, where she couldn't see what she needed to see. But I'm going to say TR worked me on this thing here, because there was a scene where Lindsay came into the office and claimed she was looking for her iPad or something after hours. Kendall, whatever. And then in the hallway was Carl. And then he comes and gets his coat and everything. I'm thinking, okay, so it sounds like those two are in cahoots. They got something going on. But then later on, TR works me further. And it was like, that's not what's going on right now. So it leads to that, and it leads away from that. Thank you, TR. Appreciate you, sister.
Yeah,
thank you, Miss Pat.
You know, I guess I saw the book, and not that it wasn't. So my whole, when it's starting to read it, I saw it as a love story, right? Which it was, but I didn't see the mystery and suspense part. That part just, I'm like Miss Pat, it just took me, it just was totally out of the blue. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, the creeping into the office, you know, that Kendra was that scene, and you know, just the way it turned out, I never expected it to be a mystery book kind of book. And then the shooting, I mean, all of that stuff was quite creative.
She definitely added all layers within this book. This is a jam-packed, especially with the look. It took 10 years, but them last 2 years, good gracious.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, so to go on a lighter note, so now that we've finished the novel, and those of you who have not gotten it that's listening to us chat, I highly recommend you get your copy of the book. And if you look in the comments today, look in the comments, I just posted the link to purchase it. You definitely are missing out if you don't check this book out, definitely. I wanted to also say, now that we have finished the novel, how would you cast 3 of your favorite characters in a movie? And this particular time we get to ask TR what her characters was, because remember she said she would tell us in the end. So everyone didn't get to kind of chime in last time. So who I can't even remember. Oh, Deborah, yes.
Last time when I said Idris Elba, my sister told me
Did
that
everybody
I did not
call
mean
you
Idris
and cuss
Elba.
you out because of that?
No, she told me because I never look at TV and I never look at movies. I was picturing a short guy, and she told me I was talking about Taye Diggs, not Idris Elba. And I said, "Oh, that's the name." Show me a picture, and that's who I was talking about.
Okay.
Somebody who was actually short.
Yeah. Forgiven.
Okay, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
Okay. So Taye Diggs, and you're talking about Derek, right, Deborah?
Yeah, for Derek. I don't know anybody for anybody else because I don't look at TV.
Well, I told you could have brought up the Star Trek people now.
I mean, I can name cartoon characters.
Well, you know what? For you not to watch TV and stuff, you definitely hit it on the nail, because I could see Taye Diggs as being Derek. He would be you made him a little bit more good looking than I probably would have, but he could definitely be a good Taye Diggs. So good job on that, Deborah. You redeemed yourself. Because we were worried about you. You threw our Idris, girl. We all went to hollering, didn't we?
I thought he was gonna come in on and be like, "Wait, hold up."
Oh my goodness. So anyone else?
I had the Derek experience. Stephanie, what was his name?
Ben, what is his name? Hold on. Michael Beach.
Yeah.
Michael, that gotta have me looking these people up because I don't know anybody by their real name.
Michael Beach was in Waiting to Exhale.
He was
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett's husband. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very good,
Oh,
guys.
okay.
Yes, that guy. I said the same thing. He was in Soul Food. He always plays that. What do you call? He's typecast as that type of person. I never knew his name. Thank you, but I just kept saying he's the guy from Soul Food, the one that cheated on his wife. Yeah, because I only know movies. I don't know character's name. But you're right. He's typecast as that type of star.
And he's short, Kendra.
Yes,
He's
Barbara,
short.
Yes, he is.
Now I'm not gonna get all these emails from these short men. Now y'all gonna stop.
I ain't saying a word.
I'm putting up Kevin Hart.
For Derek.
Play Carl.
I know Carl would have to be somebody like Danny DeVito, because Carl, you remember?
Ain't nobody got time for him.
Yes,
him and his wife been married 43 years. Don't nobody want him but her.
They got a divorce.
They got a divorce.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They did. You know who his wife is? She's that short comedian.
Yeah, she played on Cheers.
Yes, Cheers. Yes.
Yeah, they been split up.
That's too bad. I was rooting. I would have. Yeah, I knew they had been married a long time, and I was rooting for them too. Oh well. I hope he didn't mess with her business financials.
It's always after other people's money anyway.
Ray gonna have to be your second CFO, Takesha, because Marley ain't gonna trust the first one.
Yeah, he's not.
So what about? I don't think Jay has told us who he thinks that Dee Dee. Who would you cast as Dee Dee?
Oh, the main character lady.
Because I don't think that Jay has said much about her and about the crazy.
Dee Dee, she's the character that had it going on in the beginning, but dated the crazy husband. Remember, you had commented that the doctor that was controlling. She was married to him, not dated Derek. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Look, I'm carrying him down oh, he's thinking, I guess. Thinking on
A strong Black female character that's vulnerable.
So I think we had a few consensus that gave her Sanaa Lathan. Jay, who would you give her?
Everybody, well, I was thinking, but Sanaa Lathan, well, Gabrielle Union comes to mind.
Yeah, she could play. Yeah, she could play a good Dee. No, Marley Ray. Marley Ray said she's not feeling it. I think Gabrielle
Union always plays very strong parts, and Dee Dee's too weak.
Oh, you think she couldn't? Okay, yeah.
And she too skinny.
I'm thinking Angela Bassett.
Okay, yeah.
Angela Bassett.
I was thinking Angela Bassett, and only because of Waiting to Exhale. About that storyline. I mean, you think about her being strong, but she wasn't strong in the beginning in Waiting to Exhale.
Yeah, you're right.
She got there, but so I think she could play.
I think she would have executed that move, that gun, because I still want to see that. You got me trying to Google that, get the gun. I think Angela would have executed that move perfectly.
Oh yeah, no doubt, definitely.
This arming of the gun, I'm like, okay, now I got my shoulder on rehab. I need to learn how to
Yeah, she definitely could have executed that move with no problem.
That disarming, yeah. But I feel like she would have probably broke Derek's hand.
So what y'all think about Megan Good?
She a little too young.
Too young.
She could have played the first Dee Dee, the 19-year-old Dee Dee getting with Derek.
Yeah,
she could have played that. But going on to now, I don't think so. I'm surprised y'all haven't brought up who y'all think will play JR. That's
I said him last week.
Yeah, Marley is like drop the mic with her dude. Nobody can hold a candle to that.
Yeah.
Still got me stalking.
Are way too much. Okay, now I kind of cheated a little bit. I had a conversation with TR after our last book review. And so, we always have a little fun as far as, and I forgot to send the image to our producer to put up, and I don't think I have it with me right now. Let's see here. But anyway, on the cover of the book, there are, what do you think of the leaves on the book of the cover represents? Okay, now look, our author, she's getting ready to grab us a visual.
Oh, I saw that question. I had two reasons. I had two different meanings for the leaves. The first one is that it kind of represented Vermont, like during the time that she was there. And because she said that she liked, the fall or whatever it was in Vermont. But I also thought it represented just her change.
With you, Marley.
Yeah.
I agree.
The seasons change, how the leaves change different colors and they go from green to brown. So I thought it kind of represented her changing throughout the course of the book. That's my take.
Marley's just my favorite.
Anyone else?
I agree.
You agree? That's very good that you brought up the change. I didn't even think of that.
And then her being in as a mid 40-year-old woman, the whole change, how they always say the change. I totally agree with Marley. And her love, the author says she loves fall, And if you go down Prince William Parkway right now and you look at the oxidation changes with the leaves, whatever, it has to be a respected season because it is so beautiful.
It is beautiful. I'm going to pass the mic to TR so she can. Oh, Wanda, were you getting ready to say something?
No, I agree. I think the season change, and I was just thinking about how, fall is not hot nor cold always, and just the change. So that just what Marley was saying kind of made me think that too. Yeah. because you can do seasons in anything. You can do winter is winter, right? And summer is summer, but fall is sometimes it can be hot, it can be cold, it can snow, it can do whatever. So I don't know.
I was confused with the title. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I heard the one, maybe two references in the book, but I didn't get what the mirror sees. I didn't get the title. Don't kick me off. Please don't beat me up. Please don't beat me up. I didn't.
No. Hey, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna pass the mic to TR for that one.
For the title?
Title and lead.
There were lots of references through the book about images, what she was looking at when she found the condom wrapper in the dining room, when she's trying to figure out whether this is the life. She's seeing how stark it is. She's not seeing it. She's seeing it reflected in the mirrors. There's lots of stuff about stuff being reflected in people's eyes and water. And I like mirrors and reflection. So that's where that came from. But it's mostly, she couldn't see it herself. She had to see it indirectly. I think that Courtney B. Vance is Derek.
You know what? I'm
talking about what you call his husband.
Courtney B. Vance can play Derek. I think that Regina King is such an amazing actress. She could be Dee Dee from the beginning to the end.
She is.
Issa Rae is Kiana. Nobody said anything about Kiana, but that's my girl.
I was thinking Taraji P. Henson.
And I think Gary Oldman is Carl.
Who?
Gary
Oldman. Either him or Andy Serkis. But I don't. Andy Serkis played in Black Panther. He played the white guy that stole the vibranium.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he's as good an actor as Gary Oldman. But Gary Oldman could do that transition from being frumpy and into trying to be a Mac Daddy. I think Gary Oldman could do that. So my favorite character in the book is Sim, Dee Dee's oldest son. I like Sim, but I can't see him. I don't know who would play him.
I like the difference between the twins, Sam and Sim. And I also kind of related one to one parent and one to the other parent.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah. So I did like the way you showed that dynamic between the two boys. And even when they got into a little, with the disagreement, how one views the other's opinions. So yeah. But you said your favorite character was Sam.
Was Sim.
Wow.
I liked him. He was an old soul, and he always knew what was going on.
He did, and I like the way his sort of style with honoring his mom. I kind of dug that. Kendra, I saw your hand up.
This is just a small clips, TR. In the book, going back to the title, What the Mirror Sees, most women, as we think in our own head. And you always have the guys' conversations of what they think versus what the women think. I so much appreciate you putting in your treasure, because this book is truly a treasure, that when you reflected Dee Dee's doubts about her being with him, you kept saying, as she mentioned, you mentioned in the book when she says, well, I guess, the Kung Fu guy, he's okay, because relationships are supposed to go through this, right? And then when you turned around and eclipsed it, and he said the same thing when he found himself being engaged, and was like, I don't even know how that conversation, and he was like, well, she doesn't give me sparks, but I'm supposed to settle down. Relationships are supposed to be work, be work. It's supposed to take work. Women think that all the time, but you never hear a guy's perspective on it, because they don't think that way. But it's like, gosh, he's, ultimately saying he'll settle too, and I was like, you never see that.
Residential guy that's up here, Jay. So Jay, I'll give you just an overall. Dating young versus old from a man's perspective. And I'll say,
well,
yeah.
you don't want them too young.
No,
you know,
you
because you don't want to. It depends on what your age perspective is. I don't date young women because I don't. You know, when you going, I'm 58, and to date someone 30, 35, it's nothing to talk about. You know, their maturity level is just too young. And then I look young, so when I meet women my age,
go on, Jay, tell them how it is.
Definitely look young.
But this is just the ones that I've dated. I'm not speaking for all, so don't beat me up. But some of them have already put themselves out the pasture, so to speak. You know,
watch out, Jay, because
exactly.
65.
No. Remember what I said. This is Jay's perspective, what I dealt with. This is not any one of you or any of the Facebook land that I'm speaking for all. This is just my experience. I had a 57-year-old woman ask me if I was open to having another baby. I said, my son is 23. Why?
Wait a minute. So she's 57 and she asked you?
Yeah, she's 57. Asked me if I was open to having another baby. I said, my son is 23 years old. Why would
y'all get the baby from?
Look.
That's my girl, Mike.
Better living through pharmacology.
Girl.
That came way out of left field. It's like we were just talking, just having a normal conversation. Then it was like, so are you open to having another child?
Maybe she talking about her grandkid.
No, she was talking about a baby. I said, let me be clear. We're talking about a child. She said, yeah, because her daughter's grown and gone and she's lonely and she wanted a child. I was like,
get a dog.
Do you like dogs?
And you ran fast, right?
That conversation was basically over after that, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Where's she getting the baby from? I love
but getting back to what I've said, you know, it was a young lady that I was talking to. She's in bed by 8 o'clock. And it's no way,
because I am too.
There's no way I can be in bed at 8 o'clock. But you know, I'm just, it's just my perspective. I'm not speaking for all, but
no, I appreciate it.
I try to stay at 50 above, and right now I can't go past 60 unless she's a young 60, not an in bed by 8 o'clock 60. That's just my perspective.
Wow.
You know what? I appreciate that, Jay. That's very. I thank you for your organic response. And you're right. You don't look 58, and I can totally see that.
Right.
From you. I want to know when you found a 57-year-old woman and wanted to ask it. I thought maybe she was asking you to see if you wanted more kids, not knowing your age. Like I thought maybe that's where it was going, but she wanted to have a baby, Jay. Lord.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even want a dog. I don't want anybody else to take care of unless it's a woman and we're taking care of each other. That's just me.
Jay, Miss Jay has a message for you in the chat.
It's a message from the chat.
Jay, check the chat. You got a little personal message from
I'm in tears.
Miss Gloria, I didn't know if you wanted to say. I see you shaking your head, Miss Gloria. Did you want to chime in on that? I know you had popped in. Looked like you in Anacostia with Jay. I didn't know if you if you wanted to say with reference to what we're talking about.
When I was gonna say something about when he said something about the lady wanted a baby, did she want Jay too and the baby, or she wanted to make a baby?
Well, she was
Jay didn't
like
even ask, did she?
having a baby. I told her, look, by the time that baby born, I'll be 60.
No.
So you did say yes or no?
Did she want you to help her make a baby and you go away? Or she wanted you and the baby in the picture?
It never got that far. I shut it down after that. That wasn't even up for discussion. I didn't want to.
I say he ran.
But did you say, but Jay, but did you say yes or did you say no? Because she asked you, you told her how old your son was. See, as a woman, did you say yes or did you say no?
Well, I said no, but I put hell in front of
it. That's why we love Jay, y'all. That's why we love Jay.
TR said run. TR said run. So you said
I didn't have to run. I just hung up the phone.
Did you block her?
She said
no, I didn't block her. There's nothing more to talk about.
Nothing more to talk about. I don't blame
There's nothing more to talk about. That's where your mind is. My mind is not there. So it's not. That's one thing we don't have in common. So,
she was saying she was a lonely. So I was thinking, you know, if you and her had a relationship, maybe y'all could fulfill the loneliness or whatever.
That's not up for discussion. That's not up for debate.
Okay,
discussion.
She gonna trick you into a baby.
We're gonna move on. Thanks, I appreciate you. And thanks, Jay, for sharing your personal experience. I want to say I have thoroughly, like you all obviously have, enjoyed reading this book. It was totally unpredictable, totally you know, I just loved the richness of the characters. I love the parallel between JR and Dee Dee. You just did your job. So I want all of us, whoever has drink left. Oh yes, I was going to toast to the book. So we're going to toast.
Thank you, everybody. Let me tell you about the leaves, though. The leaves are part of my branding for all of my fiction. Because when the leaves are green, those beautiful fall colors are always there. You just can't see them while the leaves are green. The leaf has to get some age on it before all those beautiful colors come out. And the more stress the leaf grows under when it's green, the more beautiful those colors are. And that's what grown women are like.
Hello. Y'all better know this. We leaves, y'all. I'm orange. I don't know what y'all are.
Well, every single cover is going to have leaves on it.
Okay. That is so profound. I'm glad you shared that. Yeah, this has been a wonderful experience, and I cannot wait to read and review what else you have up under your sleeve, TR.
Well, you know that my alter ego, Dr. Cheryl, is also writing nonfiction.
You know, I was getting ready to segue into that.
And what Dear Lauren, Love Mom is 31 days of affirmations for my daughter, for myself, and for you. My daughter almost died, and I wrote these affirmations to keep her going. And as I was writing, I went, I wish somebody said that to me when I was 20. Wow. So that's really a work of my heart. And then I have 2 books coming out in November about how to take care of seniors without killing yourself.
Oh.
And then the second of my diva novels is Cajun Spice, The Sounds of Cajun Spice. And that is coming out hopefully next year. It's about a Black Chicago attorney who's always done what everybody expects her to do, even down to dating the socially appropriate older Black judge. And then she meets a young Cajun construction worker and has to decide, is she going to keep being a good girl or is she going to take the risk to get the love of her life?
Wow. That's some spice. Why
so that's coming. And it's called The Sounds of Cajun Spice. It's set in Chicago and New Orleans. But I heard so much music while I was writing it that I'm going to promote it with a playlist.
Oh, that's different. Look at you. Okay.
Nice. They got it.
So I want to thank Marley because she's the one that got me and Deborah started and meeting you guys. I want to thank Miss Pat. I want to thank Miss Pat because you came to my conversation and I really appreciate that. And I would love for you to give me your feedback offline. Just let me know how that
yes,
works.
I will. Yes.
I'm so thank all of you. This has been so much fun. I stayed drunk the first time because I was scared. I really appreciate the love.
Oh, well, you know, you are a permanent fixture in our panel now. So
thank you.
Your schedule allows, we definitely want you to come back and enjoy the books as we continue to take this journey. Yes, Ms. Pat.
Okay, I want to give my feedback online right now. And I want to say that I went to that conference that you had, being an upstander. And I learned so much about Dr. Cheryl. She is such a phenomenal woman. I cannot, it's very, very hard to comprehend a person that has as many facets in her life as I have heard and seen since we met her. I am very, very in awe of you. I respect you. And I thank you for what you're offering to all of us.
I thank
Yes.
you for coming to that conversation because you didn't have to. It was 11
Well,
o'clock in the morning. I'm just so appreciative that you came.
It was God ordained. I had to be there. And we found out we're both Sagittarius sisters, baby. Let's take it from there.
Yes, yes. What
We
comes
got
to
this
heart
down.
comes to mind without integration through brain.
I feel so
Don't
bad.
ask
I
me
just
if
saw
you
that
don't
email.
want to know.
Okay.
There you go.
I need you, TR, to give the recipe to the drink you had in our last book review. By popular demand, people are asking if you could please.
It's Campari. Campari is a liqueur that is
Yes.
a very acquired taste.
Mhm.
It's your
When you
last
taste it, you think it's going to be sweet, but it's very bitter. So you taste it and then
Yeah.
it goes bam. It's wonderful.
But you remember in the first book review, you had it was apple cider. It was like
Oh,
a cider.
It's
Mhm.
hot apple cider with cinnamon and cloves and a shot of amaretto.
Shot of amaretto. I remember everything with amaretto. Okay.
It's a great
I
drink.
just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. Yes, and definitely, guys, I put in the chat to make sure you get Dear Lauren, Love Mom, 31 Days, 31 Affirmations. I purposely started reading it 31 days prior to our first book review, and I love this. I'm actually reading it, starting it over again. Love it. I'm telling you, she did an excellent job.
Well, thank you. I'm going to put up 2 courses based on Lauren's, my daughter's name is Lauren, based on that book next year, as well as a 5-part course called The 5 Keys to Caregiver Survival, how you take care of seniors without killing yourself.
Yes, definitely. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
So, guys, we're going to make our official toast because I don't think we did. We're going to toast to what the mirror sees.
Thank you.
Robin, excellent job. Enjoyed reading it.
Thank you.
Really quickly before I let you guys go, we will have another novel that we'll be reviewing, and then we will take a break in December and come back in January. So in November, drum roll, we will be reviewing Slick by Marley Ray. So you guys, that will be November 1st and November 15th. And then we're going to take a break, enjoy our families, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that stuff, recoup and reset. And we're going to come back with the vengeance with Love Calls by Steph Williams.
Correction, When Love Calls.
When Love Calls by Steph Williams. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me on that. In January. So we got 2 dynamic novels coming up. So we're going to keep this momentum rolling. And TR, again, you are a permanent panelist. So we hope you definitely tune in and join us as we review these next 2 novels and even going further. So, but before we conclude, Marley Ray, did you want us to, any tips on what we should prepare for with Slick?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Get on the bus and let's ride, y'all. Let's see what Slick is talking about. I know some of y'all have cheated. So, but anyway.
I read it a long time ago.
Don't at me.
Most glorious, but anyway.
Yeah.
So definitely. But guys, again, this has been wonderful. And I cannot wait as we go further. And again, TR, my hat's off to you. Did an excellent job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Definitely with your work coming forward in the future. Anyone else want to say anything before we conclude?
Jay, get out of Anacostia Park.
Him and Gloria.
Him and Gloria. Him and Gloria.
Exactly. And I do want to say, Pat, shout out the people in the chat. She said she loved the book. And it looks like that they're just high-fiving each other and making little comments with each other. So that's pretty awesome. And Deborah said that you was her girl.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Okay.
November 1st.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
See y'all later.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.